Join us for lively discussion about the A-State community. Each week, we'll meet with a variety of faculty, staff, and students to discuss all things Arkansas State University. Live from the ASU-TV studios in the School of Media and Journalism, this is A-State Connections.
And hello, everyone. Welcome to A-State Connections on ASU-TV. I'm Johnathan Reaves, Academic Advisor at Arkansas State University. The latest performance from Arkansas State's theater department is The Revolutionists, which you can see at the Fowler Center April 12th, 13th, 14th, 19th, 20th, and 21st. Lauren Gunderson's The Revolutionist is a play that celebrates the strength and resilience of women during the French Revolution. The play follows four remarkable women, each with distinct perspectives on the Revolution. As they navigate the dangerous and tumultuous landscape of 18th century France, they explore various themes that we're going to talk about today. Joining me today is Skyla Conger, who is one of the cast members for The Revolutionist. And thank you for joining me today. Welcome to A-State Connections.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome back, because we had you on very recently talking about Bright Star. And so with that, kind of tell us about how that show went and kind of your role in that.
I think it went very successful. The show was very, very good, very well put together. And we had a good turnout every night, and people seem to like the bluegrass music. Like, it's something that I haven't seen in our theater department before.
Right, and so I know you tell me that you had very good turnouts for those shows every night. Yeah,
we usually had pretty much almost 200 people every night, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less.
Yeah, well, that's definitely good. Good support for what y'all are doing at the theater department and that. So by the time you were doing that, you said you were also kind of working on The Revolutionists. Is that correct?
Yes. We auditioned for the shows in the fall semester for our spring semester, so we've been working on both the whole time pretty much.
How do y'all juggle that? You know, being able to work on one and get ready for the next one. How does that work?
So a lot of times the actors will act in one show and they'll work backstage for another, and usually working backstage you don't have to go to as many rehearsals as you would if you were an actor for it. So you get a little bit of time to prepare. Right.
But there's always something that's going on with that. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Skyla, I wanted to ask you about what was it? Let's go back a little bit. What was it about theater that just really said you said, this is what I want to do. I want to be in theater.
Well, I'm dramatic. So when I performed on a stage for the first time, I was like, oh, I like having the spotlight on me.
Right.
So I was like, wow, I would like to do this for the rest of my life. I've always been in choir and band, but I sort of didn't get to theater until I was like 14 or 15. And I kind of knew from the first show that I was in that this is what I would want to do.
What was that show?
It was Sweeney Todd at a little community theater in Benton, Arkansas. Okay.
But from that point on, you said this is what you want to do.
Yes.
And so what brought you to Arkansas State?
So we in Arkansas don't really have a lot of options for theater. I wish we had more. There's really only 3 schools that I see people go to for theater, and I toured this one and one other one, and this one kind of felt like home, and I liked our program the best. Like, we have a really nice facility compared to other schools.
Right.
Our buildings are super nice. The faculty is great. You really can't get much better.
Fantastic. Well, and also you're a senior in that, so is this going to be like one of your last performances?
It will be my last performance here.
How does that make you feel?
Sad, but I'm also excited to get out there in the real world.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us about the show, about The Revolutionists.
So it's 4 women set during the French Revolution in 1793. 3 of the women are based on real historical figures, and they sort of try to navigate what it means to be a woman during that time, because it was a very dangerous time to be a woman. They were killing women for everything. So it's sort of them trying to escape the guillotine while also making a difference.
Sure.
The 4 women all come together, and they're all vastly different, but they find connection and hope with each other, which is a really beautiful message.
You know, and that's one of the things that you've kind of had a fondness for this particular play, haven't you?
I read the show freshman year, and our theater lets us submit plays that we want to do, and I submitted this one last year, and it got picked, and I was very excited.
Right. And so with all of those that you've done, you said that actually one of the characters that you really liked, that's not the one that you're going to be performing. Is that right?
It is not. My best friend Emily Province is playing Charlotte Corday, which is the role that I wanted. She's super funny. She's an assassin. And I went in and we did cold reads for the show, and I read for the character that I got, and I was like, oh, this sounds better in my voice than the read I did for Charlotte. And so I was like, I think I kind of might get this role, and I did.
Right. And so has that been a challenge for you to be able to try and get into that role?
It has, yeah. It's a character that I haven't really played before. Like, I'm usually not the protagonist in shows. I'm usually the antagonist, which I think is pretty funny. And she's just a little quirky playwright.
So tell us about who you're playing.
I am playing French feminist playwright Olympe de Gouges. She was widowed early on, and she never married again to ensure that she had freedom. And she wrote a bunch of declarations and plays on women's rights.
Mm-hmm. This particular play has so many themes that are important today. And that what are some of those themes that really kind of stand out to you about what is important, especially for women?
Sisterhood is a big theme throughout the show. It's kind of women supporting other women, even if they don't agree with them. Marie Antoinette is a character in the play, and she's sort of infamous, and the characters sort of struggle navigating how to help her while also trying to help change the way she thinks. And she really has a great story arc in this play.
Fantastic. One of the things that we were talking about off air was kind of what you all are going through and getting ready for the show in stages, I guess, in kind of in different ways. Can you kind of tell us, because when we're there watching the show, we see, of course, the back. We see what has been done after all of the work and all of that goes on. We get to see the performance in that. But kind of tell us about kind of the stages, what's going on right now as you all are getting ready for the show.
So we started out by doing a bunch of research for the show, since it is based on real people. And after that, once we got into rehearsals, we started blocking, which is what the movement you see on stage is called. And that's kind of what we do every night until the designers come in, and then they start putting their elements in with our show. And then it's just continuously running the show until opening.
And so these are the times when, if you want to make any changes, you can kind of do that if you need to, or, like changes, I guess, in movement and those things. Yes,
we have more room to play right now. Our directors call it playing.
Right, exactly. I think what really is interesting, now I'm a sound person, I think sound is such, sound design and all that is so interesting. Y'all have got some amazing light and sound instructors that are over there that are doing that. And that, to me, that's always fascinating about how you incorporate light and sound and all that stuff, and how it just all blends together. And people may not think about all those different elements.
No, they just sort of see it when it's the finished product, and they're like, wow, that's so pretty. But they don't know how much work and research goes into all these shows. All of our instructors, our costume, scenic, lighting designer, they all put so much work and research into their shows. And you can tell, because our shows always look great. The design aspects of our shows are always fantastic.
So are you the kind of person, now this is how I would be if I'm at another show and I'm specifically listening for sound, and if there is like a sound issue or something like that, I can kind of pick up immediately on that, because that's just how it is. I mean, if you've gone to see other performances, are you just kind of now picking things out a little bit and just trying to, you know what I'm saying? You know, you just kind of critique things a little bit if you're going to other performances and other shows?
I try not to pay attention to that because that sort of ruins it.
I could see that. I could see that.
But I can definitely tell when an actor is uncomfortable or something didn't go quite correctly. Like, you can sort of see the change in their body language, and you're like, oh, I don't think that was supposed to happen.
Yeah, but it may be something that maybe the audience doesn't even know, you know, that might happen, but you can pick it up, which I guess it's important because, as we say, the show must go on, and so you try to just, you know, do the best that you can, but it is a challenge sometimes when unexpected things happen.
Yes, we just try to work through it as best we can and try not to let the audience know.
Right, but that is part of it. So how has this role, going back to the role that you're playing in the Revolutionists, in the research of it and all that, as you said, it's a little bit different from what you've done, you know, previously. But how has it been as you've been kind of getting into that character? How's that been for you?
It has been different because this is the first role that I've had that's based on a real person that has lived and died. And so it's sort of, there's a bunch more research on the front end of it than I've done with other shows. And it's been super fun to sort of think the way she thinks and figure out how she moves, how she thinks, how she talks, all of that.
Any surprising things about the character that you were just kind of like, wow, I didn't realize that?
She is super awkward, but you can't tell when you're reading it. But when you're actually acting it out, you're like, wow, she's just an awkward person.
Right. But you know, that's just that's what makes it real is those different things. So joining me today is Skyla Conger, who's one of the cast members for the theater department's production of The Revolutionist. We'll continue talking about that right after this quick timeout.
I think one of the things I learned at Arkansas State was life is 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you respond to it, and that's just something that I live by.
A-State is home, and they're going to treat you like you're a part of the family.
When you say experience counts, it's experience that counts for a lifetime.
Boxes, I cannot fit in the boxes. Stop it, quitting was never an option. Exhausted, this passion is never exhausted. And you cannot stop it, nah, you cannot stop it. Quitting was never an option. And you cannot stop it, nah, you cannot stop it.
Live from the ASU-TV studios in the School of Media and Journalism, this is A-State Connections.
And welcome back to A-State Connections on ASU-TV. I'm Johnathan Reaves. The latest performance from A-State's theater department is The Revolutionist, which you can see at the Fowler Center on April 12th, 13th, 14th, 19th, 20th, and 21st. We'll talk about how you can get tickets in a little bit. But joining me today is Skyla Conger, one of the cast members for the theater department's production of The Revolutionist. Thank you so much for joining me on A-State Connections today. Welcome back.
Thank y'all for having me.
So one of the things I wanted to talk about is who are some of the, besides you playing in the roles that you're in the role that you're going to be playing, who are the other cast members who are involved in The Revolutionists?
We have Abby Orr as Marie Antoinette, Kyla Hood as Marianne Angel, and Emily Province as Charlotte Corday.
Okay, and so how has it been kind of all working together on this and getting ready for the show?
It's been great. We all get along really well. I mean, we have to, as an actor, you have to get along with your castmates, but we actually do get along, and it's been really fun getting to work with everyone because we're all at a different level. Abby is a sophomore, Emily's a junior, and Kyla and I are seniors. So we sort of get someone from every grade level.
And there are advantages to that, I would imagine, for a lot of areas because, you know, you've got the youngers who can kind of learn from you and as a senior, but you're also picking up stuff from them too, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's a privilege to work with different people every time and learn and see get a new perspective on how they're doing things.
So when did y'all start working on the Revolutionists? Like really starting, I know y'all selected this in the fall, but when did you all really start saying, okay, we need to start, you know, doing this and starting getting ready for it?
Our first rehearsal was on February 26th. It was a Monday. It was the Monday after the first weekend of Bright Star. So we started while Bright Star was still going.
Okay. With that, kind of take us through the process. When y'all are starting this, I mean, do y'all go through cold reads first and then kind of build on that? How does a production like that work kind of and evolve that way in kind of getting ready for the show? Are there like cold reads and then you start starting putting the pieces together like a puzzle?
We jumped right in. Every director is different, but our director, Day, likes to do things based off of actor impulse. So our first rehearsal, we did a full run through of Act 1 and just sort of impulsed through it, like what we thought, where we thought we should go at what time.
Right. And so I think that when you've got directors who are, you know, working very closely with that and getting that buy-in, it seems like that just makes it more organic, I guess, more real, and you can really bring out your personalities in that.
Yeah, I mean, our director, Day, is super good about getting, letting us make choices, and she's not afraid to tell us when it's a wrong choice, but she usually really likes what we do.
Right. And so this performance is coming up. You all are kind of working on, I guess, Act 1 and Act 2, kind of, every week you're working on the different acts as you're putting the show together. Is that right?
Yes. We usually do a run through of at least one act each night. And it really helps to help memorize lines and memorize your blocking and figure out new things to do.
How long is the show?
I would say 90 minutes,
90
I'm pretty
minutes?
sure, with an intermission.
Okay. What's the challenge in being able to memorize? If you're one of the main characters, that's a lot of lines to be able to. How do you do that?
It's really hard. I've never had a trouble memorizing things, so I don't really know a good process for it. I just kind of do it, but I know a lot of people like to make Quizlets for it, and it seems to really help.
Okay, that's interesting. Because I know it's constant repetition, you know, to be able to do all that. But does it help also to be able to, as you're kind of going through the lines, go through the blocking and all that? Does the different movements and all that, does that kind of help in memorizing the lines?
Oh, absolutely. Because sometimes you're like, oh, I move when I say this line, so it helps you remember that line better.
Okay, well, that's good. So the audience, what do you hope the audience will take away? What are some of the takeaways you hope the audience will get from the show?
I hope that they take away just the really beautiful story of sisterhood and femininity that plays a present theme throughout the whole show.
Okay, and so you all have been working very hard for the show. People need to go out and check this out. Tell us about, we did give the dates earlier, but if you want to run through those again and kind of where people could get tickets for the show, that'd be fantastic.
Sure. It plays the second and third weekends in April, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And you can go to A State Theater on Ticketmaster to get tickets, or you can go to the box office, which is located in the First National Bank Arena.
Okay, so it's coming up very quick, and I know people are really excited about that. That's going to be coming up. A-State Theater, I know that it's changed your life in so many ways. How, kind of tell us about that, how when you started off as a freshman now to being a senior, how has it helped you evolve as an actress, as a person, and how has it helped you in your life?
Our professors have worked really closely with us over the past 4 years to help us get ready for the real world. And I think that like they're always looking for opportunities for us. They're always looking for ways to help us grow, giving us workshop or audition opportunities. And so I think that they've really well prepared us to go out and actually audition for professional theater. And I definitely feel way more ready now than I would have as a freshman. I've learned so much more about the industry than what I knew coming in.
That's fantastic. And so you're ready to conquer the world and all that. So
hopefully.
Yeah, you will. You will. And so graduating senior, Skyla Conger, doing a great job. Thank you so much. And once again, that'll be coming up with the Revolutionists. That'll be going on in April. So that will do it for this edition of A-State Connections here on A-State Connections on ASU-TV. I want to thank my guest, Skyla Conger. Also, just a reminder that you can see the A-State Theater Department's production of The Revolutionists at the Fowler Center, April 12th, 13th, 14th, 19th, 20th, and 21st. Check out that show. Also want to thank Creative Media Production Instructor Dustin Sullivan and his amazing students who are behind the scenes running the show today. Also, thanks to Jacob Keene and Timothy Arquette for their help on the show. Join us next after spring break for another edition of A-State Connections on ASU-TV. Thank you so much for watching, and so long, everyone.